Hey 7th grade, I am going to use my whiteboard here to show you 4 different examples of solving one-step equations today. For example number 1, I have an addition problem. So I have x plus 2 equals 6. So anytime we have our equations that we're solving today, we will have a variable and some sort of operation. There will be 4 different operations, so that's why I'm going to do 4 different examples today. So the first thing that you want to do, since it is an addition problem, you want to look at it and think to yourself, okay, I know that in the end I need to get the variable all by itself on one side and all the numbers on the other side of the equal sign. So one thing that I've told my students to do is take a look at the problem. What are the 2 constants that we see here? When I say constant, it's a number that's just a number, no variables. Notice 2 is a constant and 6 is a constant. I can combine constants together. Next question you need to ask yourself after identifying these is, which one do I move to the other one? What I tell my students is, remember, we're getting the variable all by itself. If I move the 6, my variable is still next to some numbers. But if I move the 2, I'm getting more away from my variable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move the 2 to join it with the 6. Now the next thing we have to think about, how am I going to move that 2? Since this is a plus 2, I'm going to do the opposite operation and move it. And I'm going to say I'm going to subtract 2. Same if it was x or 2 plus x, I would still subtract it because it's a positive 2. So I'm going to subtract 2. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side of the equal sign in order to keep the balance. So now on this side, I have my x. I'm going to bring that down. Plus 2 and a minus 2 come to 0. So essentially, they cancel each other out because they become 0. I don't need them anymore. I bring down my equal sign. Super important part. Please don't forget that. I don't know why, but people always forget the equal sign. And then 6 minus 2 gives me 4. So the answer to this problem is x equals 4. The second example that I'm going to show you today is a subtraction problem. I still have a variable, but this time the operation is subtraction. So I have b minus 3 equals 9. Same as last time, I'm identifying my 2 constants. I look and see I have 3, or negative 3 is how you could read it as well, and 9. Second thing, decide which one am I going to move? Well, if I move the 9, I'm bringing more next to the variable and I want the variable alone. So I'm going to move the 3 so I can get the numbers away from the variable. Third step, how do I move it? Okay, let's see, it's a minus 3. I told you last time to do the opposite. So any guesses what we're going to do? You need to add the 3. And remember, if you're adding 3 to one side, you have to add 3 to the other side of the equal sign in order to keep balance. So my variable just comes down. We haven't done anything with it. Negative 3 and a positive 3 equals 0 when I combine them. So essentially they cancel out. They don't really matter. Bring down my equal sign. 9 plus 3 equals 12. So the answer is b equals 12. If you're ever unsure, you can take your answer and put 12 in the spot for b and see if it works out. So 12 minus 3 equals 9. Yeah, that's true. I must have got the right answer. Okay, I've got my third example for you. 2a equals 14. What you need to understand is that this is a multiplication problem. Anytime you have a number right next to a variable, it implies 2 times a. So I know this is a multiplication problem. In the last couple examples, I told you the first step was to combine your constants. I only have one constant, which is 14. 2a is not a constant because constants don't have variables with them. So this is, we look at it as one term. So it's not a constant. Great, Miss May, now what do I do? You told me to add the constants and there's no constants to add. Okay, this is a different situation. I still need to get the variable alone. So I take a look at the variable and I see what's bothering it. This 2 is bothering my variable a. 2 times a. Just like in the past two examples, I'm going to get rid of the number with the opposite operation. So if it's 2 times a, I'm going to do 2 divided by 2. And if I do this to one side, I have to divide the other side by 2 as well to keep the balance of the equation. So 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So essentially, they cancel out because 1 times a is just going to be a. Bring down your equal sign. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So for this problem, you get a equals 7. And like I said in the last example, if you're questioning whether or not you did it right, take this 7, put it in the spot for a. 2 times 7 equals 14. That's true. We're good. I've got my fourth example ready. Y over 4 equals 5. Okay, some of my students will look at this and freak out because they see a fraction. And they don't like fractions, they run away from fractions. I don't know what happened in the past between them and fractions. It just didn't end well, I guess. So what you need to know is this bar means division. Think of it as a division problem. So y divided by 4 equals 5. Now, 5 is going to be my only constant because this 4 is connected with the y, okay? But 5 stands all by itself. It's not connected with any variable. So I only have one constant. So I can't combine any constants. So next thing I need to look at is my variable. Okay, variable is y. Y seems to be bothered by this 4 right here. So just like the last problem, I need to get rid of whatever the variable is being bothered by using the opposite operation. Since we're dividing by 4, I am going to multiply by 4. If I multiply by 4 on this side, I have to multiply by 4 on the other side. These 4's cancel out, so I'm left with my variable y. I bring down my equal sign. 5 times 4 is 20. So y equals 20. Now, okay, how the heck did multiplying this by 4 get me to nothing? I'm so confused, Miss May. Here's what happened. This piece right here can also be written as 1/4 times y. Okay? Now, what you need to understand is if you take 1/4 and multiply it by 4, that equals 1, and that's why they cancel. Okay? Good. Well, I hope those 4 examples helped you and that now you can confidently go and solve one-step equations. So, good luck, and remember the steps and the questions that I have told you to ask yourself while you're solving these equations. See ya!